Keir Starmer has done it again. In a move so cowardly and desperate, it could only come from a man in political freefall. He has just thrown his own Chancellor under the bus when faced with the brutal truth of a £57 billion black hole in British finances. Starmer didn't take responsibility or admit fault. He pointed the finger straight at Rachel Reeves. What he wasn't expecting was for Reeves to fire back. Welcome back to UK Watch Arena. Starmer, the so-called steady hand who promised fiscal responsibility, is now playing blame games like a petulant schoolboy caught red-handed. Rachel Reeves is done being the fall guy for this collapsing Labour government. She's furious and she just tore him apart. The moment Starmer's camp leaked that the fiscal deterioration was the result of Reeves's policies, not global conditions or pandemic aftereffects, but her policies specifically, the Chancellor exploded behind closed doors. Can you blame her? This is the same Prime Minister who stood beside her on the campaign trail, preaching iron discipline and economic competence. Now he's scrambling, humiliated by the markets, and scapegoating his own Chancellor to save his skin. Let's be clear about this £57 billion hole. This isn't some legacy issue from the Tories. This crisis happened on Labour's watch. Tax hikes have strangled the economy. Investment is evaporating. Wealth is fleeing the country. The very people Labour promised to protect are being crushed under spiraling costs, sky-high borrowing, and stalling growth. If you're finding this political drama as shocking as we are, make sure to subscribe for more breaking updates on this developing story. The National Institute of Economic and Social Research has laid it bare. The government's day-to-day spending is out of control, and Reeves has no plan to fill the gap. Her fiscal rules are in ruins, her spring statement headroom obliterated, and Starmer is pointing fingers like a man on a sinking ship. Here's the twist. Reeves didn't take the blame. She flipped the script. Behind Westminster's closed doors, she made it crystal clear that if this hole exists, it's because Starmer forced her to spend. His obsession with global posturing and endless virtue, signaling on defense, climate, and trade drove up the bill. This isn't just tax and spend economics, but spend and blame politics. Remember Starmer's victory lap after his US and India trade deals? The backslapping, smug press conferences, and flurry of headlines pretending Britain was back? Pure theater. While Starmer was basking in Trump's praise like a starstruck intern, the UK economy was flatlining. That deal Trump called full and comprehensive was a joke. Free trade light. Nothing close to what Britain had before. A photo op dressed up as policy. While Starmer played Diplomat of the Year, Rachel Reeves was left holding the economic corpse. The excuse machine went into overdrive. First, Reeves blamed Trump's tariff war for killing global demand. But the Bank of England says it's barely a 0.3% impact over 3 years. Nothing that could explain this black hole. With that narrative torched, Reeves has nothing left to hide behind. That's exactly why Starmer pounced. Someone has to take the fall, and it won't be him. When the economy crumbles, Starmer reaches for the nearest scapegoat. But Reeves isn't stupid. She knows she's being set up. What we're seeing now is a quiet civil war at the top of the Labour Party. The cracks are no longer cracks, but fault lines threatening to tear the whole show apart. Subscribe now to stay updated as this political earthquake continues to unfold across Westminster.